I'm Joe Johnson. I'm a herbalist and I've been researching into alternative ways of treating health problems for over 20 years. And I get many emails from clients and people who are interested on the internet asking me for guidelines of how to treat sinusitis. Now, in an ideal world, when you think about it, the trees in the garden, the birds in the sky, every living thing, when it's healthy, it doesn't need any guidelines, it doesn't need any helping hand. Every living thing, when it's healthy, it knows how to treat itself. Every day. I mean, the air, the atmosphere we live in is full of parasites, full of invisible organisms, all looking for somewhere to live. That's it, they're just looking for somewhere to live. And your body has a system of looking after itself. We call it an immune system. And it's no one particular thing. It's thousands and thousands of different processes, all working together in harmony to keep you healthy and keep you alive. Now, we do know, as human beings, every day we put ourselves in different environments, different stressful situations, and different conditions. And the body's constantly fighting and readjusting itself and changing the system to fight off these invaders which are everywhere. And it does a fantastic job. It does a fantastic job. But every now and again, whether it through stress or through something that's happened in our life, the system goes wrong and it allows one of these little invaders, these little parasites, whether it's a fungus or a bacteria, one of them gets in and then we start to suffer health conditions. Sinusitis takes place when bacteria, yeast or mould gets in through the nostril and it starts to breed inside your head. And normally your immune system, for most of your life, you've never suffered from sinusitis because your immune system, it isn't a problem, it'll just do what it does naturally and gets rid of it. It sends all kinds of processes into action. It floods your sinuses with mucus, different chemicals, different antibodies, all kinds of miracles take place automatically and gets rid of the sinusitis. But sometimes when your body's weak or something's happened, your immune system gets tired and you get sinusitis, an infection, an inflammation inside these cavities. Now, once these funguses or bacteria have got a hold, a foothold, then your immune system struggles. It'll carry on trying to fight for you. It'll flood your sinuses trying to wash out the parasites. But if the cavities have become inflamed and constricted, the excess mucus it's using to flood out the parasites, it doesn't work, it just causes you pain, headache, congestion, feeling lousy, bad breath, all the symptoms which you already probably are well aware of. So what guidelines can I offer you? No matter what you decide to do, the fundamental thing you've got to remember is your body already knows more than enough to keep you healthy. It's got a system in place to keep you healthy. So whatever you decide to do, whatever guidelines you decide to follow, make sure that they're not damaging that immune system even more. Because I guarantee you won't have sinusitis for the rest of your life. You can get rid of sinusitis quickly or you can get rid of it slowly. Either way, your immune system, 99 times out of 100, will fight back and get rid of your sinusitis. As I say, it can be a quick job or it can be an exhausting job where you're suffering. There's plenty of people, millions of people, suffering from chronic sinusitis, long-term suffering. But eventually it will go away. But if you don't want to suffer in the long term, What guidelines do you want to follow? Well, the first thing is, don't shock your immune system anymore. Don't do anything to your immune system which will make it weaker, because you're just making the period of time longer. So, what shocks your immune system? Toxic chemicals shock your immune system. Antibiotics shock your immune system. And can you imagine anything more shocking to this beautiful, crafted thing by nature, this immune system? Can you imagine anything more shocking than cutting into it and cutting bits out of it? That's sinus surgery. All these things, antibiotics and drugs and surgery, shock your immune system. So that's the first thing I'd recommend. Find an alternative. Find a gentler alternative. So, I know I've discussed it on the other videos, but I'll just cover it broadly here. Over-the-counter medications will make you feel better. Usually. They'll relieve your headache, relieve your congestion. But they don't address the cause of your sinusitis. And they will. Toxic chemicals will shock your immune system. Your immune system says, what's this? I don't recognise this. I don't know what these things are. It doesn't recognise that these chemicals are there to help you. Your immune system thinks, this is toxic. Do something. And it's all kinds of mechanisms start to take place. Like some of these nasal sprays, it'll switch off the very mechanism, the mucus production which is there to flush out the parasite, it'll switch that off. And that doesn't help. Might make you feel better for a day or so, but it doesn't help. Antibiotics kill the fungus, kill the bacteria, but it kills off all the fungus and bacteria in the rest of your body, which you need to be healthy. That's a shock to the system. So you've just made your battle longer. So you've got to find a gentle alternative. Well, the gentlest thing to do would be obviously to do nothing and leave it. But that means you're allowing your immune system to fight its own battle. But it could be a very long time. So you've got to do something. And yet, not too much. So what I'm suggesting you do is, I've tried all kinds of different things. I've tried herbal remedies, because I used to suffer from sinusitis many years ago. I used to suffer, and I was recommending herbs. Herbs are fantastic for many things. That's supporting your immune system, encouraging it, giving it the food, giving it the building blocks it needs to get itself better. But I often found that once sinusitis had got a firm foothold, that the herbs didn't work. So herbs are very gentle, but sometimes they don't work. You could try homeopathy. It's a fantastic discipline. It's a fantastic way of treating people, but you need a specialist. You need a good homeopath who can sit down with you, and it's a very lengthy consultation process where they can find out exactly your constitution, what the cause of it was, what kind of a person you are. And eventually the homeopath can come up with a remedy that may work for you. And that is a very gentle treatment. It will help you and your immune system will get better. So homeopathy does work, but it's expensive. You need to find a good homeopath. You need to take time out and go sit with the homeopath, and you may need to try 3, 4, half a dozen remedies before you find the right homeopathic remedy for you. There are other things you can do, gentle approaches. Nasal irrigation is one. It does make you feel better in the short term. Nasal irrigation basically is pouring a fluid like saline, salt water, into your sinus cavities and flushing out, just washing out the parasites, and that will allow your immune system to get on and support you. And nasal irrigation does work sometimes. But you know when you're tired, I mean, I'm in my consulting room here. No matter how well you tidy up, you always leave a bit of dust around. A bit of this and a bit of that. And it's the same with nasal irrigation. You won't be able to flush it all out. Which means it'll probably grow back again. And you'll have to nasal irrigate in another week, and in another week, and in another week. Or you could actually, nasal irrigation, I do know it can make it worse. For instance, if you've got an inflamed sinus cavity here, full of yeast or mould or bacteria, you squeeze the fluid in. They call them neti pots. It's an ancient Indian practice of flushing out the sinuses, cleansing the sinuses. But if you've got a fungus in here and you pour a fluid in, it's only right, and it floods the whole of your sinus cavity, you've spread the fungus from there to there, or up here, or up here. So you can spread the parasite around, and in a week or two you feel worse than ever. But nasal irrigation can help in the short term to make you feel better. Some people have tried colloidal silver, and basically it just looks like water, but the water in suspension within the water are very, very, very tiny particles of silver. They call them colloids. It's a tiny, tiny particle. Now when silver comes into contact with the bacteria or the yeast, it will kill it. But again, the only way to get it in there is to flush it in there. And it's very hard to get into the silver to come into contact with all of the fungus, the yeast and the mold. It's very hard to get it in there. And also from my own research, I've found that colloidal silver, the quality of it varies tremendously. You don't know what you're buying, that's the problem. It looks like water. I mean, silver is toxic. In the old days, they call royalty blue-blooded. And the reason for that is, in the old days, the only thing they had as an antibiotic was silver. And they used to drink it. And I forget the name of the condition, but it actually, if you drink too much silver, it colours your whole body blue. And it was only the royals that could afford to drink so much silver, and they ended up looking blue, and they were blue-blooded. So it's a tricky road to go down, drinking silver. I wouldn't recommend that to anybody, but you could try flushing it up your nose. It's a very gentle approach. In terms of success, I've not seen it to be that successful. You could use it in conjunction with something else. But silver has its drawbacks. As I say, it's the quality of it, and you want to be careful you're not spreading the infection around from one infected sinus to another as you're flooding the silver through your sinuses. And also silver is very expensive. My research suggests that the best sinusitis guidelines are these. Be as gentle as you can, but you have to do something. Otherwise you're going to get a long period of misery. So this is what we came up with. I researched into the herbs that I use to treat sinusitis and that I use for my clients didn't work. They made them feel better, but the sinusitis kept coming back. So I came up with 3 plant extracts. 3 very, very powerful plant extracts. Very simple and easy to use. And we explain how to use it somewhere on the website. It's a natural remedy, it's 100% organic, but it does just enough. The thing that you've got to do is to take the pressure off your immune system. These plant extracts go into the sinuses, kill the bacteria, kill the fungus and the yeast and the mold, it kills it instantly, and that's it. You don't want to do anything else because your immune system is intelligent enough. Just take the pressure off it. Just give it time to fight back. Allow itself to get its energy back. So these are the best guidelines to follow. Kill the offending parasite. That's it. Don't do any more. Nourish your immune system with fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, plenty of water, a little bit of exercise. And in time, your immune system, you'll forget you ever had sinusitis because your immune system will be back looking after you. You don't want to shock your immune system. Over-the-counter drugs don't help. Again, they can relieve the symptoms, but they don't help. So these particular plant extracts, they do work. In fact, I guarantee they will work. They've never not worked. Some people with chronic sinusitis have felt better in just a few days. You will actually feel better within a few minutes. But remember what I said earlier, feeling better is not enough. Over-the-counter medication can make you feel better. But you've got to treat yourself in such a gentle way that your immune system can get back hold of your body and look after you. So these plant extracts kill off the offending parasites, the yeast and the molds and the bacteria, kill it off, and that's it. And you use it once a week after that, just to support your immune system while it gets better. That's the guidelines to follow. You're already potentially a fantastic, healthy person. You can soon feel full of energy again, because that's your natural way to be. All this pain and congestion and headache and bad breath and feeling exhausted, that's why you're tired. It's not the sinusitis, it's your immune system is exhausted. And it's not enough to treat just the symptoms. And many symptoms of sinusitis, look between your toes, is there any broken skin? Around your genitals, around your backside, many people with sinusitis itch and scratch around there. Because your immune system's weak, it's not just in your sinuses. Wherever anything is warm and food and moist, it'll start bleeding because the mechanism to protect you is weak. So you've got to build that mechanism up. Many people with sinusitis have got either dry, flaky skin on the scalp, where things are literally bleeding on your scalp. But it's pointless just treating the scalp, because the scalp isn't the problem. Just as your sinuses aren't the problem. It's the immune system just needs a helping hand. So I hope you've understood these guidelines, that it's about gentleness and yet taking action without damaging your immune system. Your body will be back healthy in no time. It just needs a helping hand. The gentlest helping hand you can get. From my own experience, using these plant extracts just 3 times a day to get rid of the infection. Once you've got rid of it, once a week after that, and maybe in the months ahead, just once a month, just to stop it ever coming back. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed these sinusitis guidelines. Thank you very much.